Welcome folks to an incredible journey where we will unleash the astonishing power of Power Query and VBA combined. Today you are in for a treat as we dive headfirst into the world of Excel. Picture this, a blank Excel file ready to be transformed into a data masterpiece. We're about to create a dynamic query that not only filters but refreshes based on values in your Excel sheet. So we have a new XLSM based file open. First we will create our Power Query and then add VBA. So we kick off things by clicking on Get Data from the Data tab, from File, from Excel Workbook, and then we paste in the link to the file which have our initial table. I'm just going to copy and paste it. Click on Open, and this links you directly to the source file. Once you have the Navigator tab, you will see two options available for loading. One is a spreadsheet image with a blue bar on top of it. That's an Excel table. And the other represents an Excel spreadsheet or a tab. We're selecting the table because it dynamically updates with new data. Click on it. Click on Transform Data. We won't make any changes right now, but it's always a good practice to explore your data through Transform option. You can rename your queries. If you want to change anything, you can change it here. For now, we don't want to change anything, so we are just going to click on Close and Load. And we have our table from the source file. You can see 2000 rows loaded and the connection has been created. But hold on, we are just getting started. Imagine this, you want to filter your query based on a profession name. Let's say in cell J2, we type in a profession name. So let's type in a header that says profession. And here we can say doctor. So we want to design our query in a way that we change this name here. And once we click on refresh, our Power Query updates as per that profession. So let's quickly rename cell J2. You can do that by heading to the top left, there is a name box. Let's give it a new name. We will call it profession_filter. Click on enter and you have your cell J2 named as profession_filter. You can also access name ranges from the formula bar, from the formulas tab, and then accessing name manager. And once you click on this, it will take you to the same location. Click on X. Now we want to link our cell J2 within our Power Query. So we are able to filter our Power Query using this specific cell. We're diving deep into the M code, and guess what? It's going to be a breeze. Double click on the Power Query to load the Power Query. Stick with us as we manually set up the filter for the profession column. So let's add a new blank step here. You can do that by clicking FX and you have a new step. Now as a first step, we will access our current worksheet. We do that by doing this Excel.current workbook and press enter to see the data. The next thing we will do is we will select the profession_filter, that is cell J2. We do that by wrapping this in curly brackets and square brackets. We say name equals profession_filter. Just click on OK. And we have a small table that says content table name profession_filter. Now to access the content of this, we will type another square bracket and say content, which will give us the content for this specific table. And now you can see our value that was in cell J2, that is doctor. Now to access the first value of it, we will say 0 as M code is 0 based index. Click OK. And now all we have to do is to access column 1 from this. So type column 1 in square bracket, click on enter, and we have our value that is doctor. Now that we have a way to access that specific cell, I'm going to copy and paste the M code for all of this step and remove that step. We don't need it anymore. We will perform some steps so we get some help in Power Query with the syntax. So let's say for profession tab, I'm going to just select doctor here, click on OK. And this gives us a syntax for how to write this line for filter. Now we know that the M code we copied was pointing to cell J2, whose value was doctor. So what we are going to do is we will replace the doctor with double quotes, the M code we copied earlier, and paste it here. Click on OK. And nothing has changed, but you can see all your data remains for the doctor and it does not show for anything else. So let's put it to test. Click on close and load, and you can see you only have data for doctor. Let's change it to entertainment and click on refresh. And you can see our Power Query is now filtered with profession only as entertainment. This means that our Power Query is now working like a charm. But we are not stopping here. We are taking it 2 steps further. So let's add data validation drop-down list for seamless profession selection, because right now you don't have the list anywhere. You will have to do it manually. So let's do that. I have already copied the professions in column A of sheet 1. So it's just the name of all the professions. Now activate the cell where you want the data validation to go. So that is cell J2. In formulas tab, in the data tab, click on data validation again, and here in allow option, we will click on it and select list. In the source tab, we will click on the upward pointing icon and navigate to our sheet 1 where all of these values are stored. Click on down arrow again. It has automatically added a reference to that sheet. Click on OK. and voila, your list of professions is now available. To access the drop down using keyboard, we will press Alt and the down key, and once you have your desired profession navigated, click on enter and it selects it. So let me refresh this just to make sure it's still working, and it's still working. Now hold on, here's the grand finale. Currently the change selection requires us to hit refresh each time. Who has time for that? So we are unleashing the power of VBA to automatically refresh our table whenever cell J2 changes. So time to venture into the VBA world. Hit Alt F11 to go into the VBA window. Remember, this file is already in XLSM format, so we are all set to write some macros within the same file. So let's click on sheet 1, which is the customer data X. This gives us a window where we can write our code. So where it says general, we will click and change it to worksheet. And now we can define worksheet level events. So there's a list of events that's available. That is selection, update, change, calculate, so on and so forth. We are selecting change from the drop down list because we want this code to run each time cell J2 changes. I'm going to remove this one and let's start writing our code. And now the moment you have been waiting for, here's the code that does the magic. I'm just gonna quickly copy and paste the code and try to explain what it is doing. So basically this code is checking that each time if the value from J2 changes, we'll go to sheets and then select this specific sheet and then select the specific table name. Since we created the table using Power Query, the sheet name and the table name is same, which does not really cause any problems for us. And then refresh it. Let's close the VBA window and let's change the selection from drop down list to make sure our code is working or not. So hit the drop down icon. You can access the drop down list by doing Alt down arrow and then up and down to access specific value on. Once that is selected, click on enter, and that's it. You can see that our Power Query refreshes instantly when you change the drop down list value. Imagine the possibilities. This is specifically helpful when you are sharing your Excel file with someone and you want other to be able to change the query parameters and have the updated table without actually changing the Power Query. And there you have it, an incredible journey through the world of Power Query VBA and Excel. I hope you had a blast and learned something new that will empower your data adventures. Stay tuned for more exciting Excel adventures and don't forget to hit that subscribe button